Hello everyone, it's Commando Doggo. I haven't made a video in forever, a long time no see, and I'm just back in Starbase today. I'm a little bit under the weather, a bit sick, but I'm just back in the game, just doing a little bit of pew-pew, doing a little bit of fighting with some friends, because I haven't been playing much over the past several months. If you don't know, the devs kind of announced that they're taking another break, unfortunately. I don't really pay too much attention to what's going on there, but on the Discord they talked about starting a new game, trying to get some funding going yet again, unfortunately. So yeah, Starbase could be on hold for another while. In the meantime, I have just been working on a couple of ships, and I've been remaking my old Banshee. It's a tournament fighter I made years ago. Quite outdated, and I've just made a bigger, heavier, stronger version. Over the past several months I've just been jumping in and out of the SSC, just doing a very small bit every day. I don't play as much anymore, but still, there's nothing quite like designing a ship on this game, so I still find myself jumping in here. And this is what we got. So we're just going to do a couple of fights today, just have a bit of fun. Haven't played in a while. This is the heavy Banshee 2. And in this ship we have more thrusters, of course, more armor, more glass, all the usual stuff. I've just beefed up 4 more autocannons, 24 autocannons total. And the only new feature really with this ship that I'll be experimenting with is the anti-autocannon armor that I've been developing, funnel armor. And how it works is I basically have autocannons, or any weapon you want really, hidden behind a very small opening there, and because of the way it's built, because of the funnel, there's enough room for the projectile to leave the weapon comfortably, even on a turning ship. And the armor in front of it, it's funneled inwards into the barrel, and those thick wedges, they provide high magic HP. So it's almost impossible to disable the barrels or the weapons. That was kind of the idea behind this. It's anti-disable armor, because I find with a lot of my big ships, a lot of my heavily armored ships, they tend to get disabled long before the ship gets destroyed. So that was kind of the idea before I started working on during the last sieges, and I never really finished. So we've made the Banshee 2 and we've implemented it. We're going to give it a first test run against some good opponents today. Have a bit of fun and see how this does. So that was some intense fighting against those 30 weapon fighters. It really shredded my turrets to bits. A lot of the time my turrets came off, my weapons came off before the ship. Same as usual, but I do think the funnel armor did help a little bit. It was just mostly down to turret jank and moving parts that tend to rip off very easily, a bit more easily than ship armor. So, but yeah, it did hold up quite well for the most part. I think it's going to need some improvements, especially against that 30 autocannon fighter from Scipion. That is a complete nightmare to fight against. Lost most of my fights against that. But yeah, it was good fun. It was really tough. It's a real challenge, and I look forward to trying to build something strong enough to take that on next time. Until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Had a bit of fun jumping back into the game. I'll probably continue to design ships here and there, maybe make the occasional video. We'll see. Until then, I hope you all had a good last several months, and I'll see you next time.